Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. We're going to start today with Ujjayi breathing, which is the foundation of yoga. So we're going to be doing, as I said, Ujjayi breathing, which is the simplest breathing that we do in yoga. It's just in and out through the nose. So let's begin. You can put your hand, one hand on your belly if you'd like, feeling the breath as it expands in the belly, maybe pushes out your hand. And then as you exhale, contracting the belly in, nice and easy. You can close your eyes if you'd like. Now, Ujjayi breathing is also known as ocean breathing, and the reason for that is because during the exhale, there's a sound that almost sounds like putting a seashell up to your ear at the beach. And you can get that sound by taking the tip of your tongue and placing it on the roof of your mouth. And during the exhale, just really focusing on the back of your throat. The sound is loudest during the exhale. You might even hear some gurgling throughout. Just trying to keep the breath slow and steady as we continue with our Ujjayi breathing. If you'd like to bring some energy into the breath, you can have your palms facing up. You can even bring the index fingers in touch with the thumbs. Or if you feel like you'd like to ground down a little bit in your practice, you can have your hands facing down and just continuing with the breath. Now you can continue with Ujjayi breathing, which is the breathing we'll do throughout our yoga practice, or you can take a variation. So I'll guide you in steps through the variation, and this is a 5-part variation. So it starts with the inhale, same as in Ujjayi breathing. We're going to inhale through the nose. And then at the top of the inhale, we're going to take another quick sip of air. So it looks like this. And then hold it for a few seconds, building pressure up in the chest. Once you feel that pressure in your chest, you're going to open your mouth and sigh it out. So it's at the end of the exhale, closing the mouth, making sure that the jaw stays relaxed, and just pausing. So that's the 5th step. That pause is really the most important part, because that pause represents the point where your brain is quickly going to start saying to you, breathe, 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 breathe. And if you can override that, even for just a few seconds, what you're going to do is you're going to teach your body to sit with a little bit of discomfort. And then begin again. Okay? So at any time, if you feel like the 5-part breathing, the inhale, the quick sip, the pause, the exhale, and then the second pause is not serving you, you can go back to the Ujjayi breathing. So we'll continue at your own pace. So the practice of yoga is really about preparing you for seated meditation. That's why it was developed. Seated meditation has a lot of discomfort in it if you've ever tried it for any extent of time, even just a few minutes. Your mind starts racing often. Oh, you get all sorts of aches and pains. So yoga is really trying to prepare you for that seated meditation. And preparing you for yoga is starting with the breath. So let's go back to our Ujjayi breathing. In and out through the nose. And now let's move into the asanas. So starting by taking the left ear down to the left shoulder, extending the right fingertips out on the floor, feeling the stretch all along the right side of the neck. Continuing with the breath, so really focusing on the breath here. And then coming back to center, coming over to the other side. So right ear down to the right shoulder, extending the left fingertips out. And breathing. When you're doing your own practice, you can try for maybe 5 breaths for each pose. Coming back to center, and now placing the hands on the kneecaps, looking up, really grounding down in the shoulders, maybe knitting those shoulder blades together, keeping the mouth closed as you continue with your Ujjayi breath. Beautiful. Back to center. And now we're going to take a gentle twist. So we're going to start by taking our left hand in starfish pose. That means all the fingers are as wide apart as possible. We're going to place that hand at the base of the spine, really pressing that left hand into the mat behind you. Taking the right hand over to the left kneecap. If this is too much, you can always bring it back onto the thigh. We're going to take a big inhale through the nose, and then exhale as we look over that left shoulder, keeping the chin parallel to the floor. Now the stretch in yoga oftentimes is coming during the exhale. So what do you do during the inhale? Well, you just pause where you're at. And maybe when you get to the next exhale, you can work a little bit deeper into the pose. If not, that's okay. You just stay where you're at and connect mind to body, staying in this present moment. Feeling the connection to the mat, to your hands, your legs, all parts. Trying to focus on the breath. That will keep your mind clear. Back to center. We'll take the right hand in starfish pose, placing that hand behind the back at the tailbone. Left hand comes over to the right knee. Inhale. Exhale, looking over that right shoulder. Again, you listen to your body in yoga. It's not a competitive sport. You do you. In upcoming videos, I'll give you modifications, but you can always do your own thing as you listen to your body, go to your expression of the pose. Continuing with the breath. Beautiful. Coming back to center. Now we'll come to hands and knees. So With hands and knees, it's really critical to take that starfish pose and engage the arms. So I've got my elbows as straight as possible. If you bend the elbows, and let's all do that. As you bend the elbows, you find that a lot of weight gets dumped into the wrists, and that will make your wrists very sore. So when you're in a hands and knees position or in plank or down dog, keeping the arms really engaged will help to protect those wrists. Okay, so we're gonna look back, take a quick peek at your legs, and they're hip width distance apart. Your feet are hidden by your thighs. If they're not, just make a little adjustment there. And now we're going to look up, inhale, raising the tailbone, and exhale, coming down into cat, Halloween cat here, so mid-spine is going up. And continuing with a flow. So as we extend the abdomen, the thoracic region, we're inhaling. As we contract it, we're exhaling. And you can, again, go at your own pace if you'd like to take a round or two of breath. Here, you can do that. Warming up the spine. This is cat-cow is an excellent flow. Simple vinyasa flow to put some flexibility in the spine. If you've been sitting all day, this is a helpful pose. Now, if you find, which often happens in the West, that you're doing reverse breathing, you're exhaling when you're lengthening the body and you're inhaling when you're contracting, what do? Well, you just pause, reconnect mind to body, and begin again. And isn't that really what life is all about? Pausing and beginning again. No judgment. Coming back to center. And now let's take the toes together, the knees wide on the mat, sitting back onto your heels or close there to them, extending the arms out. Starfish pose with the hands, bringing the forehead towards the mat. So here we are in child's pose. This is a restorative pose, but you can actually make child's pose an active pose. How do you do that? Well, push those hands into the mat. And you may be able to feel your tailbone sinking down a little bit further towards your hips when you do that. So we're really engaging our hands, we're engaging our arms. Knitting those shoulder blades together, flattening the back, the upper back to your degree. And of course, breathing. Ujjayi breathing. And you can continue to stay here in child's pose as long as you like. Thanks for coming to my channel. Please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you again. Namaste.